Okay, boys, today we're going to be working on writing paragraphs. So, being able to write paragraphs is a very, very important step in being able to write a good recount. Okay, so paragraphs, they're like a picture, they're like a picture puzzle, and all of the sentences in the paragraph are pieces of that puzzle. So, all of the sentences in your paragraph need to be linked. So they're all about the same thing. Now, that doesn't mean the sentences are all the same, it means that they're all basically about the same thing. So, when we're making a paragraph, we pick a point that we're writing about and we stick with it. Now, we'll go on to talk about that in more detail in 2 minutes, but first, I just want to talk to you about how a paragraph looks. So, not what are you writing it, but how it looks. So, we need to show our we need to show our reader, as a writer, we need to show the reader that we are starting a new paragraph. How do we do this? We indent. Okay, so indenting is a thing where we skip two finger spaces at the start of the paragraph. So we put our two fingers down next to the margin, and that gap in is called an indent. Okay, that indent shows the reader that this is the start of a new paragraph. Now, as well as an indent, you can leave a line free, so you can skip a line to really highlight the fact that you're starting a new paragraph. Now, you don't have to skip a line, but indenting is essential. So you must do an indent, and you can skip a line to show you're starting a new paragraph. Now, again, when we're talking about content and why we start a paragraph, there's no exact rule, there's no hard and fast black and white rules about paragraphs. But what we're going to use as a guide, so that we're all on the same page or the same paragraph, is we'll change paragraph when something new is happening. So if you're talking about one event and then you want to talk about something else, you start a new paragraph. If there's one person doing something or describing one person and another person comes into the story, so a new person is in the story or recount, start a new paragraph. When someone speaks, so when a new person speaks, we use our speech marks, but we also start a new paragraph. So that means we go down to a new line and indent. Also, another reason to start a new paragraph is if we move location. And a final reason to start a new paragraph is if there's a change in time. So if time moves on, so if it's tomorrow, the next day, after that, so it can be a specified time or just the passage of time in general. So later on. So that would be the start of a new paragraph. So now, that's our structure, okay, what a paragraph looks like, and the reason why we start a new paragraph. Now we're looking at the content, what's in your paragraph. Now, all paragraphs, like we said, are a puzzle that are made up of different pieces, but they all make up the picture. Now, what is the picture? The picture is what you're writing about, and we show what we're writing about in what we call a topic sentence. So this leaves the reader know straight away this paragraph is about this. Now, you don't need to say it explicitly. You don't need to say, I am writing about Nana. Okay? So you'll introduce Nana walked into the room. Okay, you'll introduce the topic of the sentence in the first sentence. So that makes it clear to the reader what this paragraph is going to be about. And then, as you continue on through the paragraph, you'll give more and more details about that point. Okay? So, look at this example. Nana, as everyone called her, was an old woman but she was still able to get around without a walking stick. Her face had deep wrinkles and her hair was dyed a dark colour. Despite her age, she still loved to dance, cycle, and work in her garden. Okay, so we can see straight away that there's a topic sentence. We're introduced to the point or the main point of the paragraph, which is Nana. And then the rest of the sentences, so we see Nana in the first sentence here, the rest of the sentences in this paragraph are all about Nana. So just like we said, it's a picture of Nana, and each of the sentences is like a piece of that puzzle. Just a quick refresher. Important points to remember when writing a paragraph. How we put a good paragraph together. Okay, so we need to indent or leave a blank line so that the reader knows you're starting a new paragraph. But it's important that your paragraph is linked to what came before. So if we go back here to our example, so here it's telling us about Nana. So we couldn't have been writing about a football match and all of a sudden we're writing about Nana. Okay, so we'd be talking about our family maybe there could be a situation where we're describing what it is like to be living at home with a grandparent. Okay, so it needs to be linked to what comes before it. And also, we wouldn't just go on here at the end of this paragraph to start talking about the best footballer in the world. Okay, we'd continue on in some way talking about family or something maybe that Nana has done. Okay, or maybe when Nana was young, that she was an actual dancer. Okay, or maybe she was a professional gardener or cyclist. Okay, so we'll talk about something in the past about Granny or something like that, something linked. Remember the topic sentence. So we can talk about Nana all day, but we must make sure that we have our topic sentence, that the person reading the story, the reader, knows that this paragraph is going to be about Nana. Remember the reasons why we start a new paragraph. So we have when something new happens, a new character is introduced, a new character speaks, the story moves to a different place or location, and we move on in time, the passage of time. So we also have here the use of a connective, okay, that shows the paragraph is linked to the ideas that came before and the ideas that will come after. So remember, your paragraph needs to have the look of the paragraph, which is an indent. You can skip a line if you want, but an indent at the first line, okay? And then in terms of its content, it needs to have, the first thing is a topic sentence. So introduce what your paragraph is about in the first sentence. Then you explain that topic or whatever you're speaking about in the rest of the paragraph. And remember, each sentence is a piece of the puzzle. Okay, so they're all linked, they're all about the same thing. Don't jump from thing to thing within the paragraph. So if in our example here, it's all about Granny. There's nothing about Granddad. There's nothing about anybody else. It's just Nana. Okay, maybe it's how Nana relates to someone, or maybe it's about someone Nana knew a little bit, but not much. It's mostly, all of it here in this paragraph is about Nana. So make sure they're all linked. All the sentences are linked and they're on the one topic. So they're creating the one image for the reader. Now it's important that your paragraphs are linked in, externally. So within your recount, the paragraphs are linked. Don't have a random paragraph about, we'll say, something about at home, and then a random paragraph about something in school, and a random paragraph about something in your sports club or your in the library or something. Okay, so it's important that there's a link between each paragraph, and we can make that link using connectives. Okay, so good luck with the activity. So today, in just you're not going to have to write a paragraph, but you're just going to have to practice trying to pick out paragraphs. Okay, now in this activity there's no hard and fast answer. As we said, there's different reasons for starting paragraphs. In your book they say a new event or subject begins, or a new person starts speaking. So they're only picking out two things. So for the sake of doing exercise F, I would say just focus on those two elements. Okay, so boys, this is the activity that you'll be doing from your Starlight. Okay, so in this it's asking you to start a new paragraph when there's a new event or subject begins, and when there's a new person starts speaking. So what I want you to do is focus in on what we had as reasons for changing paragraph. Okay, so again, it's when there's something new happens, when there's a new person introduced, a new person starts speaking, a different place, or time moves on. Alright, so we, instead of just having two, we actually have 5 different reasons. Now, in a piece like this, you might end up starting a new paragraph. You could end up starting a new paragraph every line sometimes. Okay, so let's look. So obviously the first sentence in the piece is going to be a new paragraph. So we have, on her birthday, my sister Lauren got the best present. So there we even have a topic sentence straight away. It's about her present. So more details about the present. Mom and Dad gave her a new bike. Now we have speech. What do we do when we have speech? We make it look like we're starting a new paragraph. So we need to indent 2 finger spaces. Thank you, Lauren cried with excitement. Now here we have a connective. After breakfast. So even though we've just started a paragraph here, okay, with the speech, we do have a connective. Time is moving on. So what do we need to do here? Lauren and I rode our bikes to the park. So we have a topic sentence. We rode to the top of a steep hill. Then we zoomed down. Lauren was going faster and faster. I didn't want her to fall off her new bike. Slow down, Lauren, I called. Now we have someone speaking here. Later, we cycled home. So again, we have a connective here, and we have time moving on. So what do we need to do here? I could hardly keep up with Lauren. So if we look back to our first sentence in this paragraph, we have a topic a topic sentence, cycling home, and then we have more details. I could hardly keep up with Lauren, even though I'm older. This is the best present I've ever had, Lauren said happily. So again, just at the end, what do we have here? We have some direct speech. So someone is speaking, so we need to do our indent and start a paragraph. Okay, so all you need to do in your copybook is write down the first 3 words of each paragraph. Now, that includes when someone's speaking. So, for example, here when it says, thank you, Lauren cried, all you need to write down is, thank you, Lauren. Okay? After breakfast, Lauren. So just look for where the paragraphs start and write down the first 3 words. So in your English copybook you'll have Starlight, your title will be Starlight, page 103, writing skills F, and then write the first 3 words of the first paragraph on the first line, skip a line, then write the first 3 words of the next paragraph, and so on until you finish it. Now it's saying here, write 3 short paragraphs about the best present you've ever received. We will not be doing that, so you don't need to do that. Okay, you don't need to write 3 short paragraphs, as we'll be doing some writing ourselves tomorrow. Okay, good luck with that, boys.